The popularity for three-row crossovers continues to grow here in the US, as traditionally, Americans have always preferred larger vehicles to accommodate their families. But even today in 2022, these SUVs tend to provide improved refinement, performance, and practicality. The Toyota Highlander is one of the hottest commodities on the market today, specifically for this generation that's brought with it a more dynamic road presence and a higher quality cabin. With rivals such as the refreshed Nissan Pathfinder, Honda Pilot, Volkswagen Atlas, and Subaru Ascent, it's quite remarkable that buyers have stuck with this brand and vehicle throughout the years, despite not necessarily being named best in class. So here are 5 reasons why you should buy a Toyota Highlander this year. The incentives to upsize go far beyond the nicer interiors and the possibility of more potent powertrains, as the longer and wider dimensions provide better versatility for buyers who have bigger families. Compared to the RAV4, you're looking at a 14 to 16 inch difference in length, and the Highlander will also be 3 inches wider, which will positively impact interior spacing and overall practicality. For the second row, you'll have the ability to fit a third person in the center comfortably, as shoulder room and even legroom are pretty good for a vehicle of this size. When looking at the third row, there's certainly more room than what you'll experience with the Mazda CX-9, but likely you'll only be able to have small children sitting in the far back. When it comes to practicality, you'll have 16 cubic feet of room initially with all 3 rows in use, which is on par with most rivals. This space will more than double in size to 48 cubic feet with the third row down, and overall you'll have just above 80 cubic feet of space, making the Highlander a great road trip crossover where you can fit multiple bags of luggage without sacrificing seating capacity. There's not many 3-row crossovers on the market below $50,000 that inspires you to get behind the wheel and embark on a long road trip, as they're primarily designed to be practical and offer better utility over their smaller siblings. The Toyota Highlander, out of its closest rivals, just might be one of the more enjoyable options in this segment. Not necessarily because of the powertrain, but rather how smooth it feels on the street when going over bumps and imperfections, and also the manner in which this vehicle accelerates. Under the hood, the Highlander is powered by a 3.5-liter V6 engine, producing 295 horsepower and 263 pound-feet of torque, and is paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission. You can opt for a hybrid model, which some competitors aren't offering, so you do have the ability to be efficient as well. When it comes to handling and cornering, the steering feel is light but direct, and of course you're not going to experience a lot of feedback on back roads, which is to be expected. Most importantly is the fact that the suspension is very forgiving, and best of all, there is a sense of refinement even for a non-luxury vehicle like the Highlander. This is supplemented by an all-around comfortable on-road demeanor that you and your family will love. We often hear how the Mazda CX-9 has set the bar high for how a 3-row crossover should perform and feel on a daily commute, and despite not being the most upscale or premium vehicle on the market, the Highlander does provide a sense of leisure that some competitors aren't offering. Ever since Toyota embraced ruggedness and aggressiveness with their designs, the entire lineup has shed the vanilla and bland cosmetic styling cues that neither aged well, nor they had the most distinctive looks that got buyers excited. Much like the rest of the crossover family, the Highlander does have a striking road presence, where it shares aesthetic features from the RAV4, but has taken a slightly different approach, where it's a bit sportier and to a lesser degree, not as off-road worthy, with the plastic cladding being kept to a minimum. Unlike the prior generation, the Highlander appears to be athletic, with aerodynamic body lines and a swooping headlight design that wrap around the front fender, to offer a sense that this crossover is constantly in motion. That has been key for Toyota in this segment, as buyers are losing interest in boxy and uninspiring cookie-cutter cosmetic features for 3-row SUVs. This modern and sleek road presence continues as we come around to the back, with the thinned out LED taillights compared to the prior generation that transforms the Highlander into being more noticeable on the roadways, where it's not just another average crossover on the market. Similar to up front, Toyota's initiative as of late is to make practical vehicles look dynamic and fun. And despite this Highlander already being on the market for 3 years, it still looks relevant and up to date. A key to Toyota's success with this vehicle is that the outward appearance sets a tone for the Highlander, letting you know it's not a rugged crossover like a Honda Pilot or Passport, and instead it'll be a perfect daily commuter for your family. Back in 2019, when the current generation for the Highlander was unveiled, Toyota's goal for this crossover was to blend affordability and entry-level luxury by designing an interior that's comfortable, but also integrating technology into the mix that previously we had never seen before on this model. Starting off with the seats, the Highlander we had featured was an XLE, so Toyota's Softex leatherette upholstery came standard on this model. But depending on the trim you go with, there will also be cloth or leather. Support and bolstering is what you'd expect in this segment, and comfort seemed adequate compared to rivals. While we wouldn't say this crossover is outdated, the technology you'll be interacting with is where the Highlander does falter a bit, especially if you're cross-shopping a Kia or Hyundai product, as Toyota doesn't yet offer a full digital gauge cluster, which isn't that big of a deal, as Subaru, Honda, and Mazda offer similar setups. Then taking a glance at the infotainment system, you'll have an 8-inch touchscreen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility. On higher trims, you'll receive a more eye-catching 12-inch head unit that helps modernize the cabin, whereas this user interface does show its minimalism and simplicity. You'll have quick access buttons on either side of the screen, with physical dials for the volume and tuning knobs. Resolution and responsiveness is typical for this market, and when it comes to menu layouts, this screen is very easy to use and to get acclimated with. Buyers will love that everything is within arm's reach, including the climate control settings found just beneath the screen. And thanks to the wider center console and almost truck-like dashboard, the interior will feel very roomy up front, adding to the overall comfort when it pertains to the driving environment. We all know that the RAV4 is a hot seller in the US, thanks to being economical, practical, efficient, and affordable. But being a two-row crossover might not be versatile enough for consumers with larger families. The reason buyers have stayed loyal to the brand and have embraced this generation for the Highlander is because it offers a similar value proposition, but in a larger package. There may be better alternatives in this market that are more futuristic and modern. However, Toyota has the impeccable reputation of being reliable, and with the powertrain under the hood of this crossover, combined with the spacious and welcoming interior, the Highlander has the appeal that some rivals just can't match. Most importantly, unlike competitors, the Highlander isn't a substantially different vehicle compared to the RAV4, whereas other three-row crossovers in this segment may have a completely different feel and personality that doesn't resemble the smaller offerings within the brand's lineup. With that being said, if you're in the market for a three-row SUV, the Highlander provides the intangibles to make it a well-rounded option at this price point, and is certainly worth taking a look at if you're considering going upmarket for your next purchase. We hope you enjoyed this quick buyer's guide for the Toyota Highlander. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more videos like this one. And if you're interested in buying a Highlander or any other three-row crossover, make sure to check out our full reviews to help you find your next vehicle. And thanks for watching.